Hey, college coaches. This is Coach Anthony Williams, founder and CEO of Connected Athletics. We're a startup company based in Austin, Texas. We're focused on helping student athletes connect with other student athletes as they go through the recruiting process, helping them also connect with college coaches during this COVID-19 recruiting cycle that we're in. But most importantly, we're focused on helping and using technology to help make sure student athletes successfully transition from high school to college, and then once their eligibility is over, into a career so they can have a nice living. We've got another exciting prospect from here in Central Texas with us today, Andres Langhorne. I hope I got that right. He's a class of 21. He's a defensive athlete. He can play linebacker and DB, and he's at Georgetown High School here in Central Texas. Great size, 6'3", 210 pounds, GPA of 3.4. Andres, how you doing this evening?
Pretty good. How are you?
I'm great, man. I'm looking forward to hearing your story. I've watched your film. I've watched you play. I live right here in Round Rock, but I'm looking forward to sharing your story with these coaches. So let's just jump right in. Obviously, the first thing the coaches want to know about is your academics. Tell these coaches in your own words about the importance you put on your academics.
I've made it one of my top priorities, actually, being a student athlete. Having good grades, goes along with being a good player, and having coaches having their eye on you as well.
Yeah, that sounds good. Tell us, are there any specific subjects that you really like and enjoy in school?
History, believe it or not, history. I like learning about, ancient stuff and going back in time,
Okay. Is that something that you plan on majoring in at the next level or no?
No, sir. I actually want to study kinesiology and be a coach. So,
Okay.
Yes, sir.
Excellent. Tell these coaches, what kind of student are you? Do you bring the same intensity on the field in the classroom?
Of course. I'm always, trying to help my classmates along as teammates learn. If you find something difficult and you're beside me, I'm going to help you out if I know what to do, stuff like that. And being the one to help out the teachers and the coaches when they need it. So.
Tell these coaches, when you do have a class that you may struggle in, are you open to getting help and using some of the support from the academic services department?
Of course. Tutorials is actually my go-to if I struggle with any classes before or after school. Maybe sometimes I miss some practice time to go get my grades right, but, do what it takes to be a student athlete.
Okay. Tell these coaches also, Andres, what's your body language like in classroom? Are you in the front of the class? Are you in the back? Are you trying to be more interactive? Tell these coaches how you are in class.
So I like to talk, I have a lot of friends, and I wouldn't say popular, but, I know a lot of people know me. So I'm always, there's people that I talk to in every class, people that I know. And, but I'm more of the, I know when to talk and sit in front of the classroom, and when it's time to lock in and pay attention, I'm there.
Good. That's good to hear. Hey, are there any teachers or tutors or coaches or APs at Georgetown that you want to shout out that's helped make learning fun?
Shout out our principal, Mr. J, man. He's a good guy, great guy. Of course, shout out our whole coaching staff at Georgetown High School. Just overall, the program and the school that they have up there is just amazing. Every sport has a good set of coaches, good people. And, overall, Georgetown's just a good place to go.
Okay.
Academics and sport.
Yeah, no, absolutely. No, college coaches want to know about the prospects that they're recruiting, their learning style. Tell these coaches, are you more of a verbal, visual, or hands-on learning style?
I'm hands-on, classroom and on the field. I need, those reps. A lot of people say reps are more of a mental thing, but it's a thing, something that you need to do to, know the play, know what you're about to do on Friday nights. And same with the classroom. Being able to, like math, back in middle school and elementary, how we used to use blocks and stuff like that to, solve problems and do numbers. So that's my type of thing.
Okay. And then lastly, on the academics, coaches want to understand your work ethic both in the classroom and in practice. Tell us about your work ethic. What is it like when in the classroom and on the field?
Always striving, always striving to do better and learn more and do what I have to do to be a better athlete and student,
Okay. Hey, let's switch over and get to know more about you personally. When you're not working out, you're not playing football, what are some of your hobbies or interests when you have some free time?
Fishing, honestly. I like to go bass fish.
What's the biggest fish you've ever caught?
Sheesh. I'd probably have to say what, 11 pounds, 12.
You keep it or throw
Nothing,
it back?
nothing too. I threw it back.
Okay. All right. Is
Yes, sir.
fishing a way to kind of calm yourself and kind of get away from the day-to-day grind of being a student athlete?
It honestly is. It's something that can sit there, look at the water, think. It's a time to some self meditation.
Yeah, absolutely. Obviously, recruiting is taking place a lot more on social media. Tell these coaches about your social media presence. What tools do you use, and how do you like to communicate with coaches on social media?
Twitter. You can get me at Young Bull Dre. It's the same as my everything else. Um, but yeah, I send my film out to a lot of coaches, here and there, and I like to use, social media is a big thing nowadays. So, coaches are on there, athletes, grandparents, parents, everybody's on there. So, I use that to really get my film out and my athletic ability out.
Yeah, I've looked at your timeline. I like the way you use your timeline kind of more business like for recruiting than a combination. Some kids put some stuff on there that I don't think they want college coaches to see. You just got to be real if you're really about that game. And I do appreciate your timeline big time. A couple
Oh,
of
yes,
personal
sir.
questions. Yeah, absolutely. Tell us, what's your favorite football movie?
I'd have to say The Blind Side, honestly.
Okay. Actually on
That's
TV right
always
now. I
been
was
one of
watching
my
that earlier.
favorite.
Yeah. What
Yes,
is it?
sir.
What is the
One of my
takeaway? A lot
favorite
of kids
football
mention
movies.
Blindside. What is your favorite takeaway from that movie?
Um, just the faith and the hope, that family had in Big Mike and willing to take him in and, do whatever it takes for him to be great and get him, just to be a better overall man in person.
Yeah, absolutely. Tell us, what's your favorite food? What do you like to eat when you're really hungry?
I say some mac and cheese,
Okay.
for sure.
Craft or homemade?
Homemade.
Okay. Any protein? My wife just cooked some killer lobster mac and cheese the other night. Do you have any special mac and
Ooh,
cheese? Or you like it just straight?
just straight mac and cheese, I'd have to say.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
And then tell us, obviously music plays a big part of being a student athlete. Who are some of your favorite artists? Who you listen to when you're working out or in pregame?
I'd have to say Gunna and Lil Baby. Those are my go-to artists when the time comes to get hype.
Okay. Hey, tell me a person outside of your family that you look up to and why.
I'd honestly have to say one of my best friend's fathers. He's always, he's been there for me through thick and thin, of course. But it's not just that; it's the him getting to listen, to what's going on in my life, and actually being there for me. Not just saying he's going to be there for me, but actually, physically and mentally being there for me. It just plays a huge part of my life, and I really appreciate him for that.
Okay. Tell us a little bit about your family, your mom and dad. Are you an only child? Are you the youngest, the oldest? Tell us about your family dynamics.
I am the oldest. I have one little sister, and it is just us two. My mom, my father lives in Virginia, doing his thing, coaching thing out there. Uncle's a comedian. Other uncle just got done playing college football. Now he's on doing his own thing with life. Grandma's actually a pastor in Virginia, also owns her own restaurant down there. And yeah, that's it pretty much. Baby sister's 3 years old, just turned
Okay.
3.
Are you a native of Virginia? Is that where there's a lot of family back there, or no?
Sir?
Are you a native of Virginia, or were you
Oh,
a
yes,
Texas
sir.
native?
Yes, sir.
Okay. And
No,
then
sir.
you
I'm a native
mentioned
of
that
Virginia.
you mentioned you're an older brother. Tell us about the importance you put on being a good big brother to your young sister.
Man, it's at times it's hard, because of course she's a female, and we have our little, if it was, a brother to brother moment. I just have to show her the way without her father being there. Put her on my back and on my shoulders, and carry her through life and while she's growing up, and while I'm still at home, taking care of her, doing what I can to help and stuff like that.
Okay, good stuff. Hey, I call this my dream scenario question. Let's say you have a great 4 years in college and you find yourself at the NFL draft in New York City. Who is sitting at your table waiting for the commissioner to call your name?
Jeez, for sure, my little league first football team I ever played for, head coach, Coach Andre Kendrick. He taught me the game, what I know. For sure, my parents, sibling, of course, grandparents, and I'd have to also throw my high school linebacker head coach in there, or defensive coordinator. I'm sorry, throw him in there. He taught me my technique and everything that I do. He brought my game to the next level for sure.
Okay,
Playing the linebacker position.
I like it. Okay. Another important part of evaluating prospects is finding out what they do in the community. Tell these coaches, what are you doing to give back in the Georgetown community? Are you part of your church? Are you doing a nonprofit work, Boys and Girls Club? What are you doing to give back?
I last summer I did go to the Boys and Girls Club and our little rec center down here in Georgetown, Texas. I went down there, helped out during the summer with their little summer camps. I did lifeguarding over there for a little bit also, and little stuff like that.
Okay. And then we always like to talk about, with recruiting and getting offers and committing, but I always like to find out student athletes, what do you want your life to look like personally and professionally when football is over, whenever that is?
Honestly, like I said, after college football, I want to go coach. I want to be able to give back and do what my little league coaches were doing with me, just bringing kids in and showing them the better way of life, and that football is something to lean on.
Okay. And then what about you personally? Do you want to be married, have kids? Do you want to stay single? Like, where do you want to live? What's that looking like for you?
I do eventually want to get married. For sure and have, max 2 kids, but we got a long time for that.
Okay. And then do you plan on staying in Texas, or you plan on going back to Virginia, closer to family? What are your plans after college?
Hopefully I can go find a coaching spot back in Virginia. I understand how it is down there, especially in the city where I'm from. It's rough out there, so I want to be able to go down there and help lead a little bit down there.
Okay. Just tell these coaches that communication with your coaches is important. How do you best communicate with coaches and teammates? Are you still pick up the phone and use your cell phone? Are you like text messages? Are you like Zoom meetings? How do you best communicate with your teammates and coaches? Did we lose you? Andrew, you still there? So, Andrew, how do you best communicate with coaches and your teammates? Are you an email guy? Are you a text guy? Or you like to still talk on the phone or text message? What's the best way to communicate with you?
For sure, my go-to would be in person. If we can get a face-to-face conversation on what there is to talk about, then I for sure love that. But I won't hesitate to pick up the phone and give you a call if I need to, on whatever it is.
Yeah, that's refreshing because most kids now, if it isn't text message, I don't want to talk to you. So it's good to know that you're still interpersonal and can still talk face to face. Hey, as we finish up here, let's switch over to recruiting here, the part that everybody's concerned about. Tell these coaches, what kind of teammate are you? How would you think your teammates would describe you as a teammate?
I'm more of a vocal leader. I'm the one, you can call me the mean guy on the team. I'm the one that's, yelling at you to run while you're on the field. I'm the one that's yelling at you in the weight room to push yourself to work, lift harder, work harder, go faster, run faster, just vocal, really. I like getting my voice out there, being heard, and letting my teammates know that it's business when football season comes around.
I like it. Okay. Hey, as we go into your senior year here, tell us, what do you consider your strengths and what are some of the things you're working on in your game as you get ready for your senior year?
I'm for sure working on my pass game. I got the run game down. I can blow up a gap here and there. You pick a gap, I'll go to it, blow it up, and make the play in the backfield, at the line. You name it. But for sure, working on my pass game as an outside linebacker. It's different playing, going straight from safety and playing corner and safety all my life to, linebacker. The pass game's different. The coverages is different. My zones and responsibilities are different and stuff like that. So I'm still trying to adapt here and there on my, second year playing linebacker.
So you migrated from safety. I have to ask the question. I'm sure coach is wondering, what position do you see yourself playing at the next level? Linebacker, or maybe going back and being a safety, or a hybrid?
I personally see myself as a safety just because of the speed I have, weighing what I weigh and being as tall as I am. I'm running a 4.40 laser, weighing 210 pounds. So, I feel like I'm kind of blessed with that ability to move like that and, get off the ball and just be quick with my feet.
Okay, that's good stuff. Do you play a part in special teams or no?
I do. I'm a headhunter on kickoff and one of the return guys on the kickoff return, and I'm actually on the field goal too, and field goal block as well.
Okay, good, because coaches love players that are excited about being on special teams. That's good to hear. Another question about your strength. You obviously have good size. Are you a weight room guy? Tell us a little bit about how you are in the weight room, and what do you benching? What are you squatting?
Man, I love the weight room. It's a weight room's a time for me to, get away, get some, things off my chest while I'm lifting. I take that time, take full advantage of that time, man. It's crazy. But last year I squatted. Well, I didn't max my junior year on squat. I ended up being hurt when it came around that time to test for it. But my sophomore year, my bench was 235. I did end up squatting last year. Squatted 520 last year. Power clean about 315.
Yeah.
So yes, sir. That's about it.
Yeah, strength isn't an issue. You've got a great balance of speed, size, and strength and quickness. That's gonna be a problem for your opponents this year. I can't wait to see you play on that. Hey, college coaches also want to understand about your relationship with your high school coaches. Tell these coaches a little bit about your relationship with your position coach and your head coach over at Georgetown.
Oh man, the relationship I have with my position coaches is phenomenal. Honestly, I look at him as a father figure in my life. He's one of those guys that I could call it any time of the day, any time of the night. He'll pick up the phone if I needed a ride. If I was stuck somewhere at 3 a.m., he'd be the one to come pick me up. And if I had no food to eat, he'd be the one to provide for me. So the relationship I have with him, man, it's just crazy. Outside of football and on the field, of course, on the field it's a different story, but it's always about what's going on outside of football, and that's why I like him the most. It's what we have outside of football.
Okay. How would you describe yourself? Would you describe yourself as somebody who respects coach's authority and is dependable as a player?
Of course. You can always rely on me to, lead, here and there. And if you need me to play a different position, you put me there. I'll make the play, do what you need me to do. You being the coach, you let me know, and I'll get it done.
Okay. And then a simple question, but it's one that's got to be asked because some people love playing the game, but they don't love to practice. Are you a practice guy? Do you look at practice as, man, I love to practice and get better?
I love practice, man. I go to practice every day juiced up, ready to hit my teammates, ready to, just go after it and compete. I use that as a time to, really compete and get better and, help my teammates get better as that. But I also put watching film above anything, man. I feel like studying your film is huge for Friday night games, Yeah, you could be a stud athlete, but if you don't know what you're doing, your assignment, alignment, what you got to do, and you don't know what that team's running, don't know what's coming at you, you got to be prepared and stuff like that. So I take film very, very serious.
You get it, man. A smart young athlete. Film is everything. Film is how you find out about your opponent's tendencies and what you can do better, and it absolutely makes a difference. You're getting better each week, so I'm glad to hear you say that. Hey, is there a certain linebacker or safety or hybrid defensive player that you look up to at the college or pro level, and who is that?
The college level, I'd say Isaiah Simmons, honestly. Him going out of Clemson, him running a 4.38, man, being 220 pounds, and 6'4", man. That guy's he's crazy. Safety wise, I'd say Brian Dawkins. I get my aggressiveness and my anger in my game from him. You know, I used to watch his highlights growing up and just, man, how he used to blow running backs up, receivers. You know, his ball breaks where he was just an aggressive and all-around good safety.
Okay, great example. That's old school, Brian Dawkins. Hey, playing football, as you know, is about overcoming adversity. Tell these coaches about a time in your life, either personally or pertaining to football, where you had to overcome some type of adversity.
You know, so my freshman year, I was at a school I wasn't too comfortable at. You know, and I ended up transferring to Georgetown my sophomore year, and you know, going into Georgetown not knowing anybody, you know, like literally nobody. I knew a couple people here and there, but not knowing anybody. When I first got there, they were gonna put me on the JV squad, and I knew I was better than that. You know, I played varsity my freshman year, but Georgetown just thought they were some. They are different. I say that, but coming in, I was on the JV squad, and I knew I was better than those varsity players. And having the coaches look at me as a JV player, I just felt like it was kind of, I felt disrespected in a way, and I felt like I had a lot to prove, you know, to those coaches and those starting linebackers and safeties that they had. But I ended up coming in. You know, I played one JV game and had 3 touchdowns. My first time touching the ball as a Georgetown Eagle, I scored on a kick return, 95 yards. Man, but it's just being able to, you know, show those coaches what I can do within one game, man. It was a blessing truly to be, you know, a starter that next Friday night without, you know, having any experience at Georgetown.
Okay, that's good. That's a great example of adversity and coming into a new school, coaches not knowing you, you feeling you're here, they're feeling you there, and then you say, you know what, let me just go show you. That's a great attitude to have because you'll probably have that same experience when you get to college, when everybody on that team
Oh, yeah.
was the man where they came from. So that's a great example. Hey, you've got great size and athletic ability. It jumps out on your video. What other sports have you played during your high school career?
Basketball. I'm a baller too.
Okay. Are you still playing this year? Are you kind of giving that up or no?
No, sir. I'm gonna play my last year.
Okay. And then you got tremendous speed. Are you also a track guy or no?
Yes, sir. I do long jump, but this past year when I tore my hamstring, I wasn't you know, able to go through my track season this year.
Okay. And just as we finish up here, tell these coaches, how do you define leadership and how do you plan on leading going into your senior year?
You know, we have a lot of young guys on our varsity squad this year, and you know, being able to physically show them, you know, how to lead, you know, what needs to be done at Georgetown and what needs to be done as a varsity football player, and you know, really just showing them the way, you know, on being on what it takes to be a varsity football player, especially at Georgetown, because it's tough. It's not
Yeah.
easy at all, and
Yeah.
yeah.
Okay. One of my favorite questions here is, you're a senior now. What advice would you give yourself now if you were a freshman about to start your 4 years all over again? What's the one piece of wisdom or nugget you'd say, hey, if I knew this back when I was a freshman, it would have made a big impact on me? What would that be?
Strength and conditioning camp. I will tell you that for sure. If you play AAU basketball, do not take AAU basketball over strength and conditioning camp for your football team, man, because it will take a toll on you.
That's a great point. That's an excellent point. Hey, finishing up here, obviously competitive spirit. Coaches love coaching players that love to compete. Tell these coaches about your competitive spirit. How competitive are you naturally?
Oh man, everything I do is competition, man. It may not be a good thing, but I love to compete, man. I compete getting dressed with my teammates, getting in the locker room. Let's see who can get out on the field faster. It's little stuff like that that I take very serious, and competition's a huge part of my game and also my life.
Okay. Last couple questions here. So the recruiting part, tell us about your recruiting experience. Who have you heard from? Who do you want to hear from? And what's been your recruiting experience so far?
Oh man, it's been bumpy here and there. Going from transferring schools. I was getting looks at my freshman year. All those schools, had contact with that coach, and I lost contact with those coaches going to Georgetown. But I put my recruiting in coaches at Georgetown, put it in their hands, and told them work your magic, and they're doing their job right now, but I also work with Coach O. Shout out Coach Opportunity.
Yeah.
He's my recruiter. He does a lot for me. You know, he puts me on the map, and also Coach Bam, my 707 coach and trainer. They do a lot for me.
Yeah, definitely have respect for both Bam and for Simply Coach O. Does a great job helping kids out and get discovered. So it's good to hear, and I'm glad to hear you shout them out. Hey, last question. We'll finish up here and let you get on to the rest of your evening here. And it's my favorite part. It's the elevator pitch. In 20 to 30 seconds, Andres, tell these coaches why they should recruit you and tell them what you're going to bring to their program.
Oh, man, leadership. You know, I can lead a defense and read the offense like the back of my hand. You know, I'm a roll down, you know, hit you in the mouth type of player and let you know that I'm there to play football and hit you in the mouth and win the game.
Okay. And then besides on the football field, what else are you going to bring to the university as far as being a great ambassador of that? You know, what are you going to bring there?
You know, just being an all around good person. You know, my energy's good. I bring good energy to the table all the time. You know, if I see someone down, you know, I'm gonna come up to you and try to get you in a better mood. You know, if it takes to tickle you a little bit, I'm gonna do what it has to do what it takes. So,
Okay,
you know,
I like it. Well, hey man,
yes,
I'm
sir.
thankful for your time tonight, man. I learned a lot about you personally. I know this video will probably help you even enhance more of the recruiting that Coach O's got you going through. I'll see you on the sideline soon. Continue to be safe and good luck next week in week 0. Okay.
You too, man. Have a good one. Thank you for having me.
All right. Thank you.
Of course.